Level 1, the Schütze, the invisible foundation. You're 18 years old, standing in a drafty depot in 1939. You aren't a hero, and you aren't a villain yet. You're a Schütz, a rifleman. You've just been handed a sold book, a small brown paybook that contains your blood type, your unit, and your next of kin. In this man-made machine called the Wehrmacht, this book is the only proof you exist. Your world is now field gray. It's the color of the uniform you'll wear until it rots off your back or becomes your shroud. You spend 8 weeks at a military district depot, learning that your carabiner 98K rifle isn't a tool, it's an extra limb. You learn to strip it blindfolded in the mud, because in a few months, the sun will be a luxury you can't afford. In 1942, they'll call you a grenadier to make you feel elite, but right now, you're just the guy carrying 60 pounds of gear across a frozen field. You are the foundation of the entire army. History remembers the generals, but the foundation is what holds the house up, and the foundation never gets the credit. Level 2, the Gefreiter, the reliable specialist. 6 months in, you haven't died, and you haven't messed up badly enough to get court-martialed. You've been promoted to Gefreiter, a rank that dates back to the 16th century. It means you're exempted from the most soul-crushing manual labor because you've proven you can be trusted. Interestingly, a man named Adolf Hitler held this rank in the Great War and refused to rise higher, a fact he wore with a strange, bitter pride even as he commanded field marshals. Now, you aren't just carrying a rifle. You might be the gunner for the MG-34, the fastest machine gun in the world. Your entire 10-man squad exists to protect you, feed you ammunition, and keep that gun singing. You see France fall in 6 weeks. You watch the impossible happen as your units move through the Ardennes faster than the Allies can think. You eat your rations on a dusty road toward Rouen, watching refugees flee, and you learn the first rule of survival. Thinking too much is a luxury you cannot afford. Level 3, the Unteroffizier, the backbone of the front. The day you pin that silver-gray braid around your collar, the world looks at you differently. As an Unteroffizier, you are a squad leader. You own 10 lives. You know whose wife stopped writing. You know who will hold the line and who will freeze for 3 seconds when the first mortar hits. And 3 seconds is an eternity in combat. The German army relies on something called Auftragstaktik, mission-type tactics. Your superiors don't tell you how to take a hill. They just tell you to take it. You have more freedom to make split-second decisions than a corporal in almost any other army on Earth. Then comes June 22nd, 1941. Operation Barbarossa. You cross the Soviet border as part of a 3 million man wave. The roads are dirt, the distances are impossible, and by December, you are 20 kilometers from Moscow in 30 below zero weather. Your boots weren't made for this. Your contract as an NCO means you're the one who has to keep your men moving when they just want to lie down and die in the snow. Level 4, the Feldwebel, the professional veteran. You've survived the first winter. You are now a Feldwebel, a platoon leader. You carry a portapee, a decorative sword knot that signals to everyone, this man knows exactly what he's doing. By 1942, the army is bleeding officers. Young lieutenants are dying at a rate the academies can't match. You step into the gap. Your job isn't grand strategy. It's attrition management. You're using the new MG-42, the buzzsaw, to turn the ground in front of you into a lethal no-go zone. But you can feel the shift. Stalingrad is consuming men like a furnace. Your replacements are getting younger, scrawnier, and less prepared. You have to be their father, their judge, and their executioner. You pull men back from the edge of breaking before they cost someone else their life. Level 5, the lieutenant, the disposable leader. You finally got the commission. You are a lieutenant. The uniform is cleaner, the weight is heavier, you are the most junior officer in the regiment, and the Wehrmacht expects you to lead from the front, literally. First through the breach, first over the ridge. This is why the mortality rate for your rank is a nightmare. By 1944, the Red Army has learned your name. They target you specifically because they know that if they kill the lieutenant, the squad's momentum dies with him. You write letters home that mention the weather and the food, but never the reality. There are no words to describe the gap between a comfortable living room in Berlin and a muddy trench in Poland. Your job is to perform certainty, even when your heart is a hollow shell of fear. Level 6, the Hauptmann, the interface of reality. You're a captain now, a Hauptmann. You command a company, at least on paper. On paper, you have 200 men. In reality, you have 60 exhausted souls who haven't slept in 3 days. You are the bridge between the high-level strategic intentions of the generals and the bloody, tactical reality of the dirt. You translate impossible orders into action. In the summer of 1944, you're in Normandy. The Allies have total air superiority. You move only at night, you fight at night, you bleed at night. You've been tired for 2 years, a kind of tiredness that sleep can't fix. You are the exception to every survival statistic, and you know it. Level 7, the Oberst, the regimental commander. You are an Oberst, a colonel. You command a regiment. You remember the good years, 1939 and 1940, when everything worked. Now you're navigating a disaster. The very thing that made you successful, the freedom to think for yourself, is being destroyed. Hitler's headquarters is now micromanaging your every move, ordering you to hold positions that are tactically suicide. You watch competent commanders get fired for making smart retreats. You say nothing to protect your career, but you feel the machine grinding its gears into dust. Level 8, the general, the operational mind. You command an army of hundreds of thousands, but you are trapped. In 44, the central contradiction of the Wehrmacht is at your throat. You are trained to lead through trust, but your commander-in-chief only leads through fear and compliance. Operation Bagration hits in June 1944. Catastrophe larger than Stalingrad. 300,000 men lost in 2 months. You send reports upward telling the truth. You receive orders downward that ignore it. You keep meticulous records now, not for the war, but for the history books. A reckoning is coming. Level 9, the General Feldmarschallwick cage. You reach the peak, the General Hitler personally hands you a ceremonial baton, red velvet, gold fittings, and the weight of 2 centuries of Prussian military tradition. But the baton is a trap. Hitler uses these promotions like a political carrot. In January 1943, he promotes Friedrich Paulus to field marshal while he's surrounded at Stalingrad. The message is clear. No field marshal has ever been captured. Die like a hero, Paulus surrenders the next day. You see legends like Manstein and Rundstedt get fired and rehired like temp workers whenever Hitler has a tantrum. The last field marshal is appointed in the ruins of Berlin, 5 days before the end. At this level, the rank means everything because of the history and absolutely nothing because there's nothing left to command. Level 10, the witness, the reckoning. The war ends. The uniforms are burned, the batons are hidden, and the paybooks are lost. You realize that you weren't just climbing ranks. You were being tested on how much of your soul you would trade for a silver braid or a velvet baton. And the hardest truth? The institution you gave your life to won't remember you. Only you and the people who survived you will carry that weight. The sky never knew your name. If you made it to level 10, comment the foundation. Like and subscribe for more deep dives into the lives behind the ranks. See you in the next one.